Our satellites gaze at the stars in search of life. While we ignore that, 6,000 meters beneath our feet, something far older is watching us. This is no natural formation. It is an entire city, and we did not build it. In the deepest reaches of the oceanic abyss, where human eyes have never penetrated, where curiosity turns to fear, where pressure would crush any human structure, and sunlight is nothing but a forgotten memory, the impossible comes into view. A settlement. These are not geological formations, not whims of nature. They are colossal structures, flawless geometries radiating an energy we cannot comprehend. An architecture that hints at a technology millennia beyond our own. It is the home of a race that has evolved in the silence of the ocean trenches. An ancient civilization of unknown origin that has claimed the abyss as its own. These inexplicable phenomena, glimpsed upon the surface of the sea, have been documented by soldiers, sailors, fishermen, and by the few who have had the terrifying fortune of witnessing the impossible. Are they visitors from another world, or the true owners of Earth? I am Adu, and today we will dive into the ocean's most unsettling theories, a conspiracy that has both fascinated and terrified generations. Mysterious lights flickering across the surface, as if the sea itself were breathing secrets. Unidentified flying objects plunging into the water, vanishing into absolute silence. Join me in letting imagination and curiosity take flight. Together, on this journey into the unknown. The Shag Harbor Incident. On the Atlantic coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, lies the small fishing village of Shag Harbor. Its nights are usually calm, marked by the murmur of the sea and the creaking of boats. But on October 4th, 1967, that tranquility was shattered by an event that remains cloaked in mystery to this day. Hours before the incident, pilots of Air Canada Flight 305 reported seeing an object alongside their aircraft. It was rectangular, intensely illuminated, and flying parallel to them. Witnesses in Mahone Bay, along with local fishermen, described strange lights in the sky that night, some accompanied by silent explosions that dissolved into bluish clouds. In Halifax, the provincial capital, multiple citizens called authorities claiming to have seen brilliant objects hovering over the city. At 11:20 p.m., several witnesses on shore observed a luminous object descending rapidly before crashing into the water. They described it as a craft with 4 flashing lights, roughly 60 feet in diameter. Upon impact, it left behind a foamy yellowish trail across the surface of the sea. Alarmed, the witnesses contacted the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, who arrived at the scene along with the Coast Guard. At first, authorities suspected an air crash, yet no aircraft were missing from the records. Whatever had plunged into the ocean did not match any known plane. Through the early hours of the morning, Canadian Navy divers searched the waters. All they found were bubbles and a strange yellow foam floating on the surface. No metal debris, no bodies, no signs of a wreck. The object seemed to have sunk and vanished into the depths. The case was officially investigated by Canadian civil and military agencies, and even by the United States Condon Committee, dedicated to the study of unidentified aerial phenomena. None of these institutions were able to provide a conclusive explanation. Whatever entered the waters that night concealed itself in some unfathomable corner of the ocean, a place still veiled from our understanding. The mystery of the USS Omaha. On the night of July 15, 2019, off the coast of San Diego, California, the littoral combat ship USS Omaha was sailing through the calm waters of the Pacific. What began as a routine surveillance mission turned into an episode that still defies conventional explanation. The Omaha's electro-optical systems detected a dark, solid, spherical object, roughly 2 meters in diameter. It moved at estimated speeds between 46 and 158 miles per hour, maneuvering fluidly across the ocean's surface. Sailors watched as the object appeared to defy the known limitations of aircraft or drones. Suddenly, the sphere descended rapidly and plunged into the depths of the Pacific. There was no explosion, no oil slick, not even debris floating on the surface. Only the unsettling silence of the sea remained. The Navy deployed a submarine to search for possible wreckage. The results were negative. No fragments, no physical evidence that anything had been there. The phenomenon seemed to transition effortlessly between air and water, a capability investigators referred to as transmedium movement. This term describes an unidentified aerial object able to move seamlessly through air, water, space, or even land, performing maneuvers impossible for human technology. The Pentagon confirmed the authenticity of the videos and radar data, officially classifying the event as an unidentified aerial phenomenon. The case was included in investigations by the UAP Task Force and later by AARO, which continues to study it. The USS Omaha incident is not based on rumor, but on visual evidence, radar data, and military testimony confirmed by the Department of Defense. Yet the most unsettling aspect is not what was seen, but what was not found. No physical trace, no conclusive explanation. The transmedium sphere remains an enigma in the waters of the Pacific, a reminder that even under the most advanced surveillance, the ocean and the sky still guard many secrets. Since remote ages, something seems to have concealed itself in the depths of the sea. For decades, we believed the UFO phenomenon belonged solely to outer space, that the answers were up there, among the stars. Humanity's gaze has always turned skyward, fascinated by its wonders. Yet we have overlooked the fact that on our own planet, where more than 70% of the surface is covered by oceans, lies a universe just as unknown. Beneath those waters dwell secrets that defy our understanding. Technological objects that seem to disregard the laws of known science. Presences that emerge briefly only to return to the depths, as if the sea were their true home. What are these entities, really? Why do they always return to the ocean? Perhaps in the following case, we may find clues that bring us closer to an answer. Or perhaps we will discover that the mystery is far greater than we ever imagined. Lights in Patagonia. In the early hours of August 29, 2023, the merchant vessel San Matias, sailing near the Valdez Peninsula in Puerto Madryn, witnessed a bewildering spectacle. The first and second officers observed 8 orange lights rising directly from the ocean. The lights moved in straight lines, zigzags, and impossible angles before vanishing into the horizon as if nothing had happened. The crew, alarmed and terrified, reported the incident to the Argentine Coast Guard, which officially logged the case. Sailors described the lights as resembling flares suspended in the air, yet their movements defied all logic. They crossed paths, appeared and disappeared, shifting in color from orange to white. The phenomenon lasted more than 30 minutes, long enough to rule out simple explanations such as meteors or fireworks. Most unsettling of all, there were no aircraft or ships in the area, according to authorities, making it highly unlikely that the lights were drones. Patagonia thus becomes the stage for an enigma that still awaits an answer. Imagine for a moment we are not alone. Perhaps, while our ancestors were just learning to walk upright on the African savanna, another branch of evolution decided the surface was too hostile. They sought refuge in the depths, adapting to crushing pressures and volcanic temperatures. Or maybe, millennia ago, an external intelligence fleeing from its home somewhere in the vastness of the universe found in our oceanic trenches the perfect bunker, a place where humanity, blinded by its own limited technology, would never disturb them. Those objects that slip in and out of the water without a splash, moving at thousands of knots without creating shock waves, suggest a science that not only masters aeronautics, but has conquered the density of the medium itself. For them, the ocean is no barrier, it is home. We are merely tenants on the floor above, unaware of what happens in the foundations. But is it really possible? If we step down from imagination to hard data, the possibility of an advanced underwater civilization faces challenges, yet also presents fascinating points in its favor. It is estimated that 95% of the ocean remains unexplored. There is ample room for anomalies or even infrastructures that we may have simply overlooked with our sonar. Along the ocean ridges, geothermal heat sources exist. An advanced civilization could harness infinite energy from these points without relying on sunlight. While the biology of a native intelligent species of the abyss seems unlikely, the hypothesis of underwater bases operated by external intelligences is scientifically more plausible. It would be the perfect logistical hideout on a planet composed of 70% water. Now, the final word is yours. Are we facing a technology that science simply cannot yet comprehend? Or is it only a matter of time before the mystery fades? As we search for answers, the ocean continues to guard its secrets beneath tons of pressure and darkness. Perhaps some are just balloons, drones, or quirks of nature we do not yet understand. But there are other objects that seem to remind us we are not the absolute owners of this beautiful blue planet. Leave me your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think is watching us from the abyss? That's all for today's video. Explorers of science and mystery. Until next time.